Hey, welcome back to building more character things, how to build things, characters, and classes. Today, I thought it would be cool to explore what kind of build we can do for somebody who's really good at ranged combat. Now, I'm sure that there's some mad skills involved in building the absolute most powerful slash overpowerful slash min-maxed archery or crossbow expert kind of person. But I think it would be cool to kind of have a little bit more to the build than just that. So what I'd like is a character who can effectively, whether it's thrown axes or daggers or archery, is really focused on ranged weapons. Now, right off the bat, I'm thinking about the ranger, right? Because a lot of people think that rangers suck, and maybe they do. I don't know. But I kind of like the idea of an old-fashioned ranger who isn't necessarily physically strong, but has the beef to be able to muscle through a combat, whether it's with, you know, his or her bow or thrown hand axes or daggers. So that's one option, certainly to consider, would be a ranger. Another might be, let's take a look at a fighter. So fighters have the greatest options for fighting styles between paladins, rangers, and fighters. Archery gives you a +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons. That's the same as the archery for a ranger. Yeah. Now I think the biggest difference here is that the martial archetypes maybe give you a little more bang for your buck. The ranger archetypes, though, are pretty amazing. So, like when we look at hunters, prey, multi-attack, beastmaster, that kind of stuff. Let me finish going through fighters. So, it's a tough call because if you went with a fighter and you did battle master, that would give you access to maneuvers and superiority dice. So let's take a look and see what of these maneuvers would best apply to I feel like a lot of these maneuvers are very specific to melee combat. And melee combat's not really what I want to do with this build. Commander's Strike. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can forego one of your attacks and use a bonus action to direct one of your companions to strike. Yeah, that's a cool kind of like leadership team player thing, but not really sure if that's what this character would want to do slash need to do. Yeah, there are some cool things in there, but not necessarily, I'm not feeling it for this particular concept. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I don't know, it's just a gut feeling. I could see if I chose champion, that could be pretty cool. You know, being able, having your weapon attack score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. I mean, that's a huge thing. I think people, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, it basically means that you have a 10% chance instead of 5% chance on every attack roll of scoring a crit. That is tempting. But let's flip back to Ranger for just a second. So remember, we're talking about ranged combat, and that could be thrown or bows. So let's look at Hunter. Hunter's Prey. At 3rd level, you gain one of the following features. Colossus Slayer. your tenacity to wear down the most potent foes. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the creature takes an extra 1d8 damage if it's below its hit point maximum. You can deal this extra damage only once per turn. Pretty good. Giant Killer. When a large or larger creature within 5 feet of you hits or misses, you can use your reaction. Alright, Horde Breaker. Once on each of your turns, when you make a weapon attack, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target and within range of your weapon. Wow. That's cool, man. Because if you're talking about a longbow, that's hella range. But even if you're just throwing daggers and hand axes, that's pretty cool. You can make another attack with the same weapon. That's basically like getting a second shot, right? Assuming that they're together, that they're within 5 feet. Now the problem is that's useless if your foes are spread out. Colossus Slayer, on the other hand, gives you an extra 1d8 damage as long as that creature is below its hit point maximum, which basically means like if it does any damage at all, if it's taken any damage already, you can get an extra 1d8 damage. I'm feeling that, man. Let's make a ranger. I mean, they get an extra attack at 5th level. And they get a lot of other cool stuff, you know? They get spells. I don't really care about the spells as much, but I should, but I don't. Just being honest. Alright, we're going to make a ranger. It's a human variant ranger. Why human variant? I forgot. Oh yeah, feats. I had a feat in mind when I started this day. I've been constantly distracted. Sharpshooter. You've mastered ranged weapons and can make shots that others find impossible. You gain the following benefits. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack weapon rolls. That's pretty cool. Your ranged weapon attack ignores half cover and 3/4 cover. Ignores. Ignores. That's beast. Before you make an attack with a ranged weapon that you're proficient with, you could choose to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll. If the attack hits, you add a +10 damage. That's massive. Sharpshooter. That's pretty beast. Pretty beast. Alright, now, so far I've avoided crossbows. I'm just thinking about like axes and daggers and longbows. I haven't really looked at crossbows, so to satisfy my curiosity, let's take a look. Crossbow Expert. This is on page 165 of the Player's Handbook. Thanks to extensive practice with the crossbow, you gain the following benefits. You ignore the loading property of crossbows with which you are proficient. Does that mean what I think it means, people? Does that mean that you don't... Alright, hold on. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attacks. That's pretty sweet. When you use the attack action and attack with a one-handed weapon, you can use a bonus action to attack with a hand crossbow you are holding. Oh, see, now I know why people are making these crossbow experts. Never mind. Let's stick with the original thing. So, over here I'm going to write down Sharpshooter, so I remember what feat it was that we chose. Now, if I'm choosing that feat at 1st level, it must mean that we're making a human variant. Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Bill. And what class? Ranger. Okay. Level 3. We're going to leave the background and all the proficiencies. But let's get to the nitty-gritty of what this character needs to whoop ass. So, Rangers need wisdom. It's good to be alert. I mean, what kind of a ranger would this ranger be if they couldn't you know, have survival skills and perception and all those useful rangery kinds of things. And obviously dexterity. So our 2 highest rolls must therefore be dexterity and wisdom. But, you know, constitution's not a bad thing to have, man. So I think what I'm going to do is put a 15. I'm going to put a 14 in wisdom. And a 15 in constitution and dexterity. I'm going to add those human variant bonuses to constitution and dexterity, gets them up to 16s. See that, Dave? See what I just did there? It's magic, isn't it? +3, +3, +2. And that leaves me with a 10 and 2 8s. I think the 8 could be strength. This guy's not about strength. And the other 8 could be intelligence, because he's not the smartest cookie in the batch of cookies. And a 10 charisma, just so he's not that offensive. And there you have it. That's our build right there, buddy. Now, Rangers have some proficiencies with, for example, saving throws, strength, and dexterity. That's good, because my proficiency bonus of +2 and my strength of -1 gives me a +1. Okay, all right, fair enough. Get a +5 for that dex save. My con gives me a +3. Now, y'all might be asking, Bill, why did you put a 16 Constitution? Because Rangers, this guy deserves to have good hit points. That's why. That's why. Plus, if you're really old school, like me, you might remember a time when your DMs made you roll a character straight down. So you couldn't even plan what your character was going to be because you had to roll straight down. Like the first roll was strength, the second one was dex, third one was con. And whatever you rolled kind of determined what class options were accessible to you. Which maybe is why I'm kind of comfortable playing any kind of character, because I had to back in the day. You got what you got. Yes, it was. Now, Rangers can have decent armor, and I'm not going to want anything more than like studded leather. No shield, because I got to keep my hands free. So we're going to take the fighting style of archery. And we have Sharpshooter. We'll leave the 3 skills that they get to choose from for whatever teenage person wants to choose this, as well as the background so that they can customize this character. The numbers that I can put in, the hard numbers, would be the speed of 30, the initiative of +3. I could fill in some of these blanks. Studded leather armor. Studded leather. Yeah, so that's not bad, man. A 16 dex, or a 16 AC. Not bad, not bad. I'll let them choose their own favorite enemy. Natural Explorer they get. And then spell slots at 3rd level. They know 3 spells, and they have 3 spell slots at 1st level. So there are some spells there that could help out too. Not a bad idea. Wisdom's not that bad, which affects their spell save DC and their spell attack modifier. And then we're going to put down Colossus Slayer for Hunter's Prey. And I will print out notes for whoever chooses this. But that's pretty boss. So let's do a little like mental calculation here with a longbow. Okay. So with a longbow, this character gets their base attack bonus of their dex plus their proficiency. So +3 dex plus 2 proficiency bonus gives them a +5. But because they have the fighting style of archery, they get an additional +2 to their attack rolls. So they get a +7 to attack. Okay. Now their damage is the longbow damage, 1d8, plus their dex bonus. So it's 1d8 plus 3. But remember that if they end up attacking something that is already wounded, then through that Colossus Slayer, they can add an additional 1d8 damage, which is like kind of better than sneak attack damage for low-level rogues, which is huge. Because of the Sharpshooter element, their range is not disadvantaged if they go beyond their normal range. They get to blast through all sorts of good cover. So this is a machine of killing. Now, even with not longbows, so just the ranged attacks, like let's say a dagger, you know. So the dagger they're throwing would be +7 to attack. The damage would be 1d4 +3. So they could do as much with a dagger thrown as like somebody using a short sword with no significant bonuses. I like that. It's pretty good. All right, hit points. They have a great constitution. And as is my custom at my table, I allow my players for the first 5 levels to max out their hit points. So the con bonus is 3. They get a base of 1d10. So that's 13 per level. So they're starting at 39 hit points, which is pretty nice. Okay, so we'll fill in the rest of the blanks later, but you know, this is kind of a good base build for somebody who wants to pick out a character who's going to be good with ranged attacks, but also have some useful skills that the party could benefit from while they're exploring, while they're traveling, so on and so forth. So thanks for tuning in to this build of the Sharpshooter Colossus Slaying Archer Ranged Attack Person Ranger Human variant. Stick around and we'll have another build coming up soon. Bye-bye.